what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2003 Lexus RX300. Up front is a 3.0 liter V6 and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this RX300 because this is, although it is the final year of it, it's the first generation of the RX, meaning I have now driven all of the generations of the Lexus RX platform. This is where it started. This car debuted in 1998, although 2003 was the final model year for it, so I'm very excited to dive into it with you today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me take out this RX300 today. You'll learn more about them at the end of the video. But let's get back to that 3.0 liter V6 under the hood. That's not only where the car gets its name, the RX300, meaning 3.0 liter, but it is sort of the bread and butter. For many years, Lexus and Toyota use these 3-liter V6s in a lot of different platforms, and I really like it. They make solid power, they're pretty reliable, and I don't have many more thoughts beyond that. Like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic. I think a 5-speed would have been nice, but later Lexus RX has got more gears, if that's something that you want. Cruising on the highway can just be a little unfriendly to your miles per gallon if you travel at high speeds. Last but not least, this particular RX300 is front-wheel drive. However, you could find them in all-wheel drive, and that's sort of the goal of the platform, was to be an all-wheel drive sport utility vehicle, so you can most certainly seek that out. So how does it feel to drive a Lexus RX300 from 2003? It's fine. It drives like pretty much all the other Lexus RX vehicles, all the way up pretty much until now, where they redesigned it for 2023. It's calm, it's collected, it's easy to see out of, it's easy to steer, throttle isn't jumpy, it's just a nice, calm driving experience, and I really appreciate that. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a bunch of electroluminescent gauges. Well, off to the left, I have my fuel and coolant temperature. In the center is my speedometer, and off to the right, I do get my tachometer. The steering wheel has nice wood accents, top and bottom. Really love the feeling of that, and I do have my cruise control to the right, but no forward-facing buttons. Off to the left, we do have a climate vent, power mirror switches, security light, and 2 levels of memory seats. Very nice options here for 2003. Moving out of the door, more wood accents surrounding the power locks, window locks, and power windows, of course, all of which are auto. Moving into the center, we do get a little information screen. Pretty early to have stuff like this. We more so saw this in a lot of other Lexuses towards the late 2000s, so really nice to see it here. I did get some cruising information, outside temperature, time of day, climate, stuff like that. It's very rudimentary, but very cool for 2003. Down below that, we do have a cassette player with our radio, AM, FM, CD, clock, all of those nice things, and the climate controls are integrated in here as well, so we do have auto and temperature. No dual zone, still a little too early for that, but I like how concise all of this is. I wish that there was a little bit more color, a little bit more labeling, but then again, Lexus is a more subtle brand, so I'm not surprised that they're not these bright, crazy colors. Then I have the traction control off and cigarette lighter, and the shifter itself, again, more wood accents found here in the interior of the RX300, and I really like seeing that. To the right of the shifter, I do have a snow mode, which is very nice to see. We do have a little bit of a floor center console here, so you could pass your leg almost through the center here. But then moving up, we have the ashtray, but then you pull this lever and a giant shelf comes out, or drawer, I should say. Very nice storage options. Helps keep your interior nice and clean looking while keeping all of your bits inside. And then we do have pop-up cup holders. We'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and I'm not happy about it. But you can finagle these arms around the big friggin' bottle, and it does stay there while driving, although it feels incredibly unstable. Like the market in 07, I have no faith in it, so it does have a pass. I just don't feel great about it. Then we got to move up to the seats. They are this really nice late 90s, early 2000s taut leather. I really like the look and feel of them. I miss this era of seats, something we don't really see much of anymore, and that's okay, but definitely a memorial to a bygone era. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2003 Lexus RX300, and a couple of things to note. First of all, right off the bat, legroom is really good. It's really, really nice. Knees fully extended, head up, not hitting the ceiling, not hitting the seat. I'm 5'11" and not a small guy. I do have vents back here, which is very, very nice to see. This little armrest that folds down, and overall, all the materials in here feel very, very nice. Think Lexus LS430 from the same era. That nice. Like, this is really, really good. I would feel very cool. And the tint on the windows we'll talk about in a second, but it adds a really cool light in here, like sort of a darker, almost like a cherry hardwood light, but like a very thin version of that, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like very 80s businessman back here, which is very, very cool to feel. Other than that, I do have a light, things like that, but very impressed with the back space. I could sit back here all day, and I just might. However, we do have more stuff to do. Let's hop into the back and talk about the trunk and cargo space. All right, we're on the back of the RX300. Big latch down here, pull it up. Needs a little bit of help. It is 21 years old. But once we are back here, we have a really nice privacy cover. Pull this out like that. We do have a 12-volt outlet. Love to see that. These are the nice floor mats. Little storage here, and we can pull this up. Off-center handle, kind of weird, but we do have some goodies down there as well. Overall, nice trunk space in the back of the RX, and I love, love, love to see that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and first let's talk about the actual exterior features of the RX300. I think it's fine. I think this is definitely macaroni styling for me. Macaroni styling is a term that I coined of nostalgic styling from the 2000s that was pretty blobby. There's not a whole lot of character to it. However, because I grew up with it, much like I grew up with macaroni and cheese, it has that warm sense of nostalgia and a special place in my heart. Anytime I see a first-gen RX, I think it's pretty neat. However, there is one exterior accent I do want to talk about, which is the rear tint. Yes, this window tint is 100% factory, and the United States Department of Transportation said, yeah, this is good, this is fine, this is safe, you're good. And then a little while later, they completely walked it back, and they were like, oh no, we should not have said okay on those. Those are definitely not safe, definitely not allowed. And so future Lexuses never had these, but a very short period of the RX was allowed to have this mirror tint, which has become iconic with 90s Lexus vehicles. I think it's so cool. I think it looks amazing. I can understand how it's kind of a safety hazard and mirror tint is not allowed here in the States. But, you know, it's kind of one of those cool things where you can actually see the government walk it back of like, oh yeah, we should not have allowed that. I can't believe that we did, and so here we are. Cool little piece of Lexus history. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving this Lexus RX300 from 2003? Well, I know it's 2003, this particular car, but I do want to talk about how this car was developed throughout the mid to late 90s. The concept for this car debuted in 1994, and it entered production in late 1997 for the 1998 model year. The SUV market was completely different back then. If you wanted an SUV, you pretty much had to have something that was body on frame, rugged, a truck with a cap on the back. Think Toyota 4Runner, which literally started in 1984 as a Tacoma with a back seat and fiberglass cap on it. Or really Toyota pickup, my apologies. SUVs were pretty rough and tumble. And then Lexus came out with this. Now, it wasn't the first posh, comfy SUV. They didn't define their own market. They didn't break the ground. But to me, this is one of the cornerstones of what changed. People saw this and said, oh, I can own an SUV that doesn't break my spine over speed bumps. I can own one that doesn't smell like a Planet Fitness at 4 p.m. I can own an SUV that's comfortable, that's luxurious. It was pretty new at the time. And so Lexus came out with this, and I think they absolutely killed it. This drives like a modern SUV. And you might not find that totally crazy, but this was 21 years ago. And really, 1998, as much as most of you don't want to admit it, was 26 years ago. And to be honest, Lexus hit the nail on the head pretty much from the jump. It's comfortable, it's quiet, the engine, the V6 is so smooth. The materials in here have held up incredibly incredibly well for being 21 years old. Visibility good, power good. I mean, it's really interesting to me that they literally built this and they're like, all right, perfect SUV. What do we do next? Let's make a perfect sports sedan. And the IS300 was born. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This car is really, really good, and it's one of my favorite SUVs, and I'm happy to report that that remains throughout the product line, throughout the second generation, the third, fourth, fifth generation. RXs are just good, and it's very, very hard to go wrong with one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to North Naperville Autos for letting me take out their RX300. This is one of their available vehicles, but they always have something fun and interesting for me to review. I've been working with them for quite some time now, and they have always had wonderful customer service, always top-notch used vehicles, and I can't thank them enough. Their information is down in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.